All I'm saying is, if having a skull on my shield makes me evil, I don't want to be good.
Since its release, Tiny Epic Defenders has pretty much been my favorite game in the Tiny Epic series. It's a fast-playing, really enjoyable, cooperative, or great solo game that is easily repeatable and has tons of dynamic elements that can kind of shift the game around. So I was thrilled when I heard that there was going to be a much-needed graphical overhaul and tiny little rules tweaks in a new Tiny Epic Defenders 2nd edition. And on top of that, the Tiny Epic series, not being shy to give us more content, has also released Tiny Epic Defenders 2nd Edition, The Dark War, an expansion to it. So in today's episode, we're going to give you a whole gamut of opinions on comparisons between these, reviews of these, and just getting our entire Tiny Epic Defenders thing on. So with that, let's get defending. In Defenders, each player takes on the role of one of several heroes, each with unique powers, to defend the capital city and its surrounding lands, each double-sided with different special abilities, from the evil invaders who are led by one of many epic foes, each meaner and uglier than the last. Gameplay is dictated by the turn deck, where each round, one by one, cards are revealed. Regular enemy cards attack, dealing damage to 2 different regions unless a player is at one of those regions and they defend by losing a health. Then there are player turn cards, which grant one player or all players collectively 3 actions. Player actions allow them to move to adjacent regions, reduce the damage in regions, activate abilities on character cards and items, or if the epic foe is out, you can fight, meaning dealing damage to that bad mamma jamma. I say out and play because, to start, the epic foe is hidden under the Horde, and every round a new card from the Horde deck is added to the turn deck, including the occasional snarly dire enemy. Dire enemies have a potent and nasty ability if undefended, take 2 health to defend, and give you a cool equipable item if you successfully defend against them. Losing all your health means you can only move until you heal up. Better start your turn at the capital city. When a region reaches a certain level of damage, it's permanently destroyed. Its helpful abilities are no longer available, and future damage there is applied to the capital city, which, by the way, cannot be healed. But if you last until they rear their ugly head and deal enough damage to defeat the epic foe, you win the game. As far as the standard non-expansion game, not much has changed between Tiny Epic Defenders 1 and Tiny Epic Defenders 2.0. But that said, the core game is still deliberate, fast, and really enjoyable. I love playing this game for a lot of reasons. First off, a game of Tiny Epic Defenders takes about 20 minutes to get through once you know what you're doing, and it doesn't take up a lot of space and doesn't have too many fiddly pieces going on. What I really like about it, more than anything though, is the kind of versatility of the core experience. There's a predictability in how the game is going to resolve, the tempo, the pace of it, that is fun and lighthearted, but also gives you enough choices that you're going to make moving from one space to another. But the amount of different characters that are available, the amount of different epic foes that are available, the amount of different artifacts that are going to come into play, give enough different variety that's going to make it so no 2 games are exactly alike. The main differences between the 1st and 2nd edition are that there was a graphical overhaul, a balancing of some powers, and introduction of some new characters, foes, and dire enemies. Additionally, players get now 4 actions on a player card if a region is destroyed, and the first round of the game is set up so that all the bad stuff happens before you take your turns. I am a fan. Like, the artwork, it's actually kind of incredible, the facelift that this game has received. I mean, the landscapes are gorgeous, the character designs are really evocative. There's all sorts of amazing stuff to love about the artwork in this. I was frankly kind of blown away. Now, the other major cosmetic shift in the Tiny Epic series in general that I'm sure everyone is well aware of now are the item meeples, which look cool, but are a little bit fiddly for my hands. But I will admit, there is a certain appeal to having a meeple with a cape and swinging a major hammer at some enemies. The coolest thing about Tiny Epic Defenders, more than anything else, is that pace and tempo that I was talking about earlier. Because as you're resolving cards that are going to do things, causing destruction and giving you agony and reasons to make your choices that you're going to make throughout the game, you're going to become more familiar with this deck, and after every turn, you're going to add one new card from the horde into the deck, and you're going to go, oh, geez, I know the mountains have been hammered, and so we have to defend against the mountains, but what if one of the cards added is an epic foe that's going to be elsewhere? So there's unpredictability in the new things that are coming, but familiarity with the things that have already happened that inform the decisions that you're going to make. There is no perfect way of approaching the game, which eliminates a lot of the quarterbacking that can happen. And when the epic foe gets revealed, it feels like a genuine climax to an arc, as you've seen progressively more damage being dealt, a deck becoming more and more deadly as you become slightly more powerful, but are holding on with just a thread as these regions are getting destroyed. And because of that tempo of unpredictability but familiarity, being able to preempt where things are going to go wrong, but also having to make decisions about what could possibly happen, it makes for a really satisfying and engaging, tiny, epic game. In fact, I think it is probably the only game in the series that truly lives up to the moniker of being both tiny in size, scope, space, and time, as well as epic. And that is why I love Tiny Epic Defenders. Let's get to Tiny Epic Defenders, The Dark War. The best thing about the Dark War is that it adds more stuff, more dire enemies, epic foes, characters, and items than you can shake a leg of gross meat at. That said, much of it is reliant on the new experience and skill systems, which require the new modes to play. Skills are new abilities that you both start the game with and earn as you level up, and your experience is both a resource used for the skills and some other aspects of the expansion, and if you reach enough experience, you can spend it all to level up and heal. The new game modes are the campaign and the Great Battle, and they introduce the new Dark War regions and the caravans. The campaign has you play 3 smaller games back to back with generals, aka mini-bosses, between. Items, skills, and capital city damage carry over from game to game. The Great Battle is more of a difficult version of the base game on account of the helpless caravans and the hostile regions and everything being generally terrible. In either mode, the 6 caravans appear one by one during each round, and a new objective to win the game is saving all 6 of them, costing experience and actions. The hostile regions just add nasty effects, obstacles between regions, reductions to max health, trees that do tree stuff, and boats that get hijacked, and of course mana cores that look weird in 3D cardboard cutouts. During the campaign, each of the 3 games in normal region is replaced with a hostile region, which becomes a friendly, super helpful region during the next stage of the campaign. All of that is welcome and isn't going to change that solid core that I love about Tiny Epic Defenders, while giving more tools to play with, more toys to have your defender battles with. And that's cool. I love just increasing the amount of content there, as long as it's increasing the amount of abilities and options and decisions, because I really like the core experience of Tiny Epic Defenders. Now, the new stuff, they're more of a mixed bag. There is some good stuff about it. I dig that the experience point system is a combination of like magic points that are expendable to activate your skills, as well as the meter in which you're going to level up and restore your health and get more skills added to you. And those skills are cool. They make your characters more customized and more capable, and giving you more choices and gives you more empowerment as you progress through the Dark War itself. I do dig it. I'm going to always integrate all of the characters and epic foes and additional items, even though some of them are going to be reliant on the experience point and skill system, which means that I most often am probably going to play with the Great Battle as the single game mode. I'm kind of sad that that doesn't include the general, but also I want to consolidate the experience. If I'm going to elongate Tiny Epic Defenders, I'd rather it, for the most part, to be elongated from a 20-minute game into more of like a 30-minute game. The campaign is fun if you want a longer and much more difficult game that I think does warrant playing occasionally, but it does take about an hour to play through, and it does get a little bit weary with the amount of scope that you're having to take into account during the game. And by the time that you're done, it doesn't feel so tiny anymore. It does feel epic, And I like that it feels epic, but I also liked that it felt tiny. Now, the other thing that bears mentioning in this expansion is that these are all cardboard pieces that they look kind of cool. I get what they were going for here, but I mushed several of these with my gorilla hands as I was trying to assemble them together. My Manticore here is worse for the wear with kind of a chipped nose, and I don't know, like, I can't help but wonder, wouldn't this be better as a cute meeple-ified version rather than this cardboard standee? And yeah, the item meeples, they are a little bit fiddly, but also they're well constructed and freaking adorable. And so overall, I think it's an improvement, even if my gorilla mitts have a hard time pushing them into the meeples. The end result is that I really love Tiny Epic Defenders. I do like the Dark War, and I recommend that first you definitely check out this one, and if you want more and you want to broaden that experience and you want to be able to have a really, really epic time, then go check out the Dark War. So that's it. Thanks for watching. I've been Jack for the Cardboard Herald. If you enjoyed this video, we have all kinds of other reviews, interviews, and recommendations via writing, podcasts, and video here on our channel and website cardboardherald.com. Our content is audience supported, so if you want to show your support, please visit our Patreon. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the Cardboard Herald.